host of the Gridiron.
Unfortunately, now it seems like the top dog, right? I don't know if this is ever going to fall. Yeah, I mean, really, to be a free agent, what was his? Let me see here. Is it? Yeah, 28 million. I mean, this is that what PFF. Don't go by. Has T. Higgins, right? Projected. Once again, it's all PFF, right? To make about $28 million a year. Right? What was that? What would that be? Okay, $67.5 million guaranteed, 4 years, $28 million, $112 million for 4 years, 67 about a little more than half, which is about right, guaranteed. So now I don't know if the Giants were ever going to go after Higgins, but it looks like he's going to be tagged. Burrow was really put, and I don't blame the dude. When you got Chase and Higgins, I mean, it's almost like pick your poison. I mean, the problem with the Bengals was this year wasn't their offense; it was their defense was horrible, and that's why Lou Anarumo, who was with the Giants back in the late teens for a spell, I think it was their cornerback coach. I think it was. He was very, very good. He got canned. But their defense, of course, except when the one game they played the Giants, then of course that one game they looked like the greatest defense ever graced the earth. But the rest of the season, when they weren't playing the Giants, their defense was not very good at all. So that was the Bengals' problem was their defense. They need to reload on their defense, especially on maybe in the draft and everything. They really need to beef that up. But I mean, I can't blame Burrow. I mean, if this is what's going to wind up happening, it looks like they're going to quite possibly tag Higgins maybe for the second season in a row. I think he made like $21 million last season, and they might wind up tagging him, right? But then that gives them, a chance. You can only tag the one guy, right? So you can't tag him and then sign it to a long-term deal and tag. So no. But it looks like they're going to tag him, which will give him a couple months, I believe, to work out maybe a long-term deal with Higgins going forward. And I mean, that would be that. I mean, that makes the most sense for them. I mean, because if you got the quarterback, if you can keep Burrow upright and don't get him injured, right? You got your quarterback and you got your two wide receivers out there, and it all starts working off of that, right? The thing is, can they get a defense on the field that, right? But the thing would be that if, you know what you got with Higgins, they can certainly draft, obviously, draft a wide receiver. Be a heck of a lot cheaper if they drafted let Higgins go, save themselves some money, and draft a wide receiver, right? But then that would, also the problem with that is they need help on the defense. So, but I mean, the nice thing is what you got with Higgins, you know what you got with Chase, and you know what you got with Burrow. So they have their offensive firepower right there. So it looks like Higgins is going to be franchise tag once again. So, but look at any other, some of these other guys, some of these other free agents, unless we're talking Darius Slayton, right? Be ashamed to let him go and bring somebody else in here, right? The thing is that some of these guys are a little temperamental. They want their targets. So you got to remember that, who you bringing in too, because some of these guys are just big babies. And if they don't get their targets, they're going to cry, wee, all the way home. I mean, it's just some of these guys it's absolutely amazing. Like Stephon Diggs, it always seems like wherever he goes, it always seems like there's a problem. And there was a problem in Minnesota. There was a problem at Buffalo. I'm not a big fan of Stephon. I mean, he can be phenomenal, but he's got to be the man. Right? He's got to get his targets, and if he's not getting his targets, boy, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. So he comes here. Doesn't matter what you pay him. He's not getting as many targets. Malik's getting the targets. And we saw last year, I mean, Malik and Wandale had over 300 targets between the two of them. Now, what we got to do with Wandale is we got to find a way for the guy to catch a pass and get more than like half a yard, right? I mean, the guy averaged like 7 yards of reception or something. It's like, yeah, that's not impressive. But, I mean, I said what was impressive was the amount of targets. And, I mean, between the two of them, they had over 200 receptions. I mean, really good. Really, really good. But, I mean, if you look at some of these guys, yeah. So we got Higgins. Let's say we'll go to wide receiver here, position. Here we are. Godwin. Okay, Godwin's next. I seen something about him. I'm not exactly sure if they were trying to re-sign him or not. He's 20. He'll be 29. But once again, $20 million a year. PFF projects him. Okay, 3 years, $20 million a year, $40 million guaranteed for a grand total. 3 years, $60 million. $40 million guaranteed. So, yeah, I mean, once again, let's say he maintained a standard 21, earned an 85.7 PFF receiving grade through nearly 7 weeks without a single drop on 52 catchable targets. So, however, Godwin sustained a season-ending left ankle dislocation. He is no stranger to entering free agency with an injury, and hopefully the recovery will be even quicker this time around. So, I mean, once again, fantastic, player. I don't know if the Giants want to spend $20 million on a wide receiver when we have other pressing needs. I mean, cornerback would be one, obviously. Defensive line. I'm not so sure how they want to attack the offensive line. Are they happy with what they got? They're going to bring back Van Roten, maybe try to hit something heavy with the guard. If Van Roten's not going to be there, right? Have Illuminor, Neal, and Thomas as being the tackles, right? I mean, I said, we got Schmitz, we got, so we need one guard. Right, we got Runyon, right, as the left guard. Unless we bring Van Roten back, which would be on the cheap. But I mean, even if we do bring Van Roten back, which would be great, be cool, it would be awesome. I wouldn't have any problem with that at all. But we do need a future guard somewhere along the line, which might be something to look forward to maybe in the draft, right? Which we're going to talk about in a couple minutes here. The offensive line. Right. Then the next we got Amari Cooper. Right. He's 30. He'll be 31 soon. Before the season starts, he'll be 31. Let's see. PFF once again grades him. Let's see. 2 years, $17.5 million. Once again, $25 million guaranteed. 30 years old, he'll be 31. Cooper will be an attractive option for teams looking to improve at wide receiver, having earned a PFF receiving grade above 70 in every full season he has been in the league. He struggled with drops in 2024, though, failing to bring in 15.4% of the catchable passes thrown in his way in the regular season. Then you got Stephon Diggs. Now, apparently, according to PFF, they think maybe he would get like a 1-year deal for $16 million. 79 grade. He's 31. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. The star wideout was on pace to extend his streak of seasons with a PFF receiving grade above 75 and drop rate below 10% on catchable pass before his season-ending ACL teardown. So, I mean, that's the one problem there is a lot of times with an ACL tear, as you can come back, the next season from an ACL tear, but a lot of times it's not till the second season that you're back up to speed, full speed. If not even a little bit better than you were maybe before. So, I mean, this year, to bring in Stephon Diggs, he's may not be up to speed, top speed, shall we say. Now, if you were like maybe a guard or something like that, you'd have to run around a lot. Maybe that might be one thing. But when you're when your job requires that you run your rear end off, that may not be the best maneuver for him. So we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, but I don't know. Diggs, it always seems like there's a problem wherever he winds up going. I don't know. I'm not too much. And to get somebody just coming off an ACL tear and wind up giving him 16 minutes, especially for one season. If with Diggs, it's like if we were like, if I could say we were like, I don't want, it makes me throw up to think about this, but if we were like the Eagles, right? And we were, that packed and that, all of that, and we just need a little more firepower. For 1 year, I'd bring him in. Absolutely. Especially if you got a couple other real good wide receivers or something like that, bring Diggs in there and have the defense have to worry about a Diggs. He maybe not even at 100%, right? And with the coming back from the ACL. But I mean, if he's got a couple other great wide receivers, or somebody like Cincinnati, right? They got Higgins and they got Chase, and then you bring stuff, maybe Diggs in there if you can fit him in there. That would be fantastic. But for the Giants to bring him in for like 1 year, and he's not taking us to the promised land or anything like that. I really don't see the Giants bringing in Diggs. And then you got D-Hop. The man seems like he just keeps on going. Looks like he'll be 33 soon. Okay. PFF has him at 2 years, about $13.5 million a season. All right. Hopkins was traded at the trade deadline from the struggling Titans to the Chiefs. A natural spotlight through the playoffs never hurts, and Hopkins continued to play through a knee injury, which suggests he can fully heal up over the offseason in time for 2025. But once again, you bring in somebody that old. As I said, he's going to be 33. If we're going to spend $13, $14, $15 million, I'd rather have us bring in like a stud guard or somebody like that, right? Or somebody on a defensive line, or get a real good edge rusher or something like that. Brown from Kansas City. Looks like they got quite a few guys here. PFF has him, Marquise Brown, at 2 years, $9 million a year, $10 million guaranteed. Brown was expected to be a marquee addition to the Chiefs receiving group in need of playmakers, but instead missed almost the entire regular season with a shoulder injury. There's no better time to prove your value than during the playoffs. Brown posted a PFF receiving grade between 68.1 and 68.7 each of the past 3 years, giving teams an indication of what brings to the table. Darius, and of course, Darius Slayton. Let's not forget about him. Okay, now, he's only 28. The PFF has him at 3 years, $12.5 million a year, which, $25 million guaranteed. Basically, that's almost like a Saquon Barkley deal, right? 3 years, $25 million guaranteed, $37.5 total, right? $12.5 million a year. Right around the Saquon Barkley deal, right? As I said, he's 28. I don't know. It's kind of like, a lot of times the Giants seem to do this. Like they'll let one guy go, right? Maybe somebody they drafted and all that hadn't been on the team for a little while. They'll just let him go, and then they'll bring in somebody else who's really not any better than the guy they just let go. Let's say. But the thing is, with Darius, it seemed like after the season was over, they were talking to him after, I think, the final game of the season, and it seemed like what he was saying, if he was saying the truth, then he seemed like he wanted to go someplace where maybe get a little more involved in the offense. And this is the first year in quite some time. He fell. Usually he's like Mr. 700 yards, almost automatic. On a crappy team, crappy offense, crappy quarterback play, all this stuff, 700 yards almost every year. That wasn't the case this year because Wandale and Malik got most of the targets. I got always over 300 targets between the two of them. So it sounded like Darius wants to go someplace where he get maybe a little more of an opportunity, right, to participate, shall we say. So it didn't sound like he'd be open to. I mean, maybe he'd be open to coming back, but I'm sure there might be greener pastures out there for him. So I just would hate if the Giants would let Darius go, who's been on the team for, since 2019, right? And then we, let him go and then bring somebody else in who just does about the same thing. All right, then let's see who else we got here. And of course, we got Keenan Allen. He'll be 33 soon. He was with the Bears. Deontay Johnson was with Carolina. He was cheap. Mike Williams, right, with Pittsburgh. So there are some guys out there, but, a lot of guys, you'll notice Williams. I mean, this is just the top guys from PFF. That's all I'm going by. But you'll notice here, right, is that Williams is 30. Deontay Johnson is be 29. Keenan Allen will be 33. Right? Darius Slayton just turned 28. Marquise Brown's 27. He'll be 28 soon. Right? D-Hop, he'll be 33. Diggs is 31. Cooper will be 31. Godwin will be 29. Right? And T. Higgins is 26, but that's why that's why he's going to get franchise tagged, quite possibly, and he's the number one guy, right? But you'll notice one thing: there's not a lot of real stud young wide receivers hitting the free agent market. a lot of these top guys, right, are older. So, but once again, I'm sure the Giants could also, now they need to hit on it. But you can certainly draft, obviously, a wide receiver. Let's not, grab somebody in the first round. But, you can certainly grab somebody in the, second or third round. But once again, if we draft the wide receiver in the third round, hint, let's hit on him. Let's hit on somebody who can maybe run some routes, get on the field, catch some balls. Wouldn't that be nice? So, I just don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Hyatt. We'll have to wait and see. But the Giants, we're going to talk a little bit here about the salary cap. Right? The Giants will have some money to spend, but so I'll have to wait and see. Without question, the Giants can't be happy, especially with what they have with Hyatt, from last year anyway. They can't be totally thrilled over the moon with their wide receiver group depth and all that stuff. I mean, the top couple are Wandale and Malik, yeah. But if they let Slayton go, that's the number 3 guy, then there's a little bit of tail off between with Hyatt, right? So they need to add some bodies, that's for sure. But then again, they have quite a few areas where they need to add some bodies, that's for sure.